Julius Adewale was known across the city as a man of incredible wealth. His mansion rose like a palace among smaller homes. Its white walls gleamed in the sun. A fountain bubbled in the courtyard. Shiny cars lined the driveway. Every morning, visitors crowded his gates. Friends came to chat and sip wine on his balcony. Family members brought gifts. Neighbors stopped by just to say hello. Business partners laughed at his jokes, even when they weren't funny. If Julius sneezed, 10 people would say, "Bless you," before he could wipe his nose. Whenever he threw a party, the hall overflowed. Glasses clinked. Laughter shook the walls. Everyone praised his taste in wine, his generosity, his intelligence. "You're so lucky, Julius," they'd say. "Look how many love you." Julius would smile politely. But inside, something troubled him. Is it me they love? Or my money? One night, after a grand banquet, Julius sat alone in his study. The guests had gone. The chandeliers were dim. He swirled brandy in his glass, watching the fire crackle. His old friend Patrick entered quietly. "You're brooding again?" Patrick asked. "Tell me honestly," Julius said. "If I lost everything tomorrow, would they stay?" Patrick hesitated. "You think too much. Relax. Enjoy your blessings." Julius slammed the glass onto the table. "That's not an answer." Patrick shook his head sadly. Julius barely slept that night. He kept thinking about the smiles, the flattery, the praises. By dawn, he had a plan. He called his lawyer, Mr. Falana. "Sell my businesses," Julius ordered. "Sir? Are you joking?" "Sell them. Keep the money in trust." "I won't touch it. Don't tell a soul." Mr. Falana cleared his throat. "Julius, think carefully." "I have." He dismissed most of his staff with generous severance. Then he went into his bedroom, opened an old chest, and pulled out faded clothes, a torn shirt, worn trousers, scuffed shoes. He stared at himself in the mirror. No one would recognize this man. Julius left his mansion in the early hours. He carried a small bag. No car, no driver. He boarded a rusty bus, packed so tightly he could barely breathe. People shoved him aside at the bus stop. No one greeted him. He rented a tiny, crumbling room in a crowded slum. The walls were cracked. The door barely shut. When he lay down, springs from the old mattress poked his back. He laughed bitterly. So this is how they live. For the first time in his life, Julius queued for water with a plastic bucket. The sun was hot. Children jostled him. "Uncle, you're too slow," a girl snapped. He carried the bucket back, water sloshing onto his feet. At night, mosquitoes sang in his ears. He couldn't sleep. He went to the market to beg for work. "Please, let me carry this sack," he told a stall owner. The woman eyed him. "You look weak. Go away before you spoil my goods." He found another merchant who let him help unload onions. The man threw him a few coins at dusk. Julius bought porridge from a roadside shack. It was thin, watery, tasteless. He forced himself to swallow it. Weeks passed. Julius grew thin. His skin darkened from sunburn. One day, he felt dizzy and collapsed near the roadside. He lay there, coughing violently. People walked past. Some glanced at him and hurried away. "God, please," he whispered hoarsely. No one stopped. As dusk fell, a woman in her late 30s approached. She wore a threadbare wrapper. Her hair was wrapped in an old scarf. "Papa, are you all right?" she asked gently. Julius couldn't answer. His lips trembled. She touched his forehead. "You're burning up. Wait here." She returned with a small cup of warm water and some herbs. "Drink," she urged. He obeyed weakly. "Why help me?" he croaked. She sighed. "Because no one helped my father when he lay sick by the road. He died there." Julius closed his eyes. Tears slipped down his cheeks. The woman, Grace, called her teenage son to help lift Julius. They led him to their tiny hut. He lay on a mat near her children. They shared their meager food with him. At night he heard Grace praying, "Lord, have mercy on the poor." Provide for us." He wept silently. When he recovered, he helped Grace fetch water and chop firewood. They sat outside in the evenings, talking. "Mama Grace," he asked one night, "why are people so hard here?" She shrugged sadly. "We're all desperate. We have nothing to give. Even love feels like a luxury. But you helped me. Because someone must break the cycle. If we don't care for one another, who will?" He fell silent. "Julius," she continued softly, "rich people think we're lazy. But hunger is a chain. It makes you weak. It kills hope." Her words burned into his heart. After 2 months, Julius decided it was time. He hugged Grace and her children. "I'm going," he said. She frowned. "You have nowhere. I'll manage." He walked away, tears in his eyes. He returned to his mansion. The security guard at first didn't recognize him. "Oh, good Julius," the man gasped. Julius ordered a bath, changed clothes, cut his hair. He summoned his lawyer. "Release my funds," he said. "Welcome back, sir," Mr. Falana said, relief on his face. He sent invitations for a grand dinner. All his old friends and relatives came. The house sparkled again. Waiters served expensive wine and roasted meats. Everyone praised him. "Our generous Julius. We missed you. Where did you go?" Julius stood slowly. "My friends," he said gravely. "I have something to say." He told them everything. How he sold his businesses temporarily. How he dressed as a poor man. How he starved. How he fell sick by the roadside. How only a poor woman helped him. Silence fell over the hall. "When I was rich, you all praised me," he said. His voice shook with emotion. "But when I was poor, no one cared. Some people lowered their eyes. I saw the truth. Money buys false love. True love is helping those who cannot repay you." He declared his plan. "From today, I will use my wealth to feed the hungry, build homes, fund hospitals. No one should lie sick on the road and be ignored." He sold excess cars. He converted his mansion's guest quarters into a shelter for the homeless. He opened free clinics. He funded schools. Months later, Mama Grace and her children arrived at his mansion at his invitation. She wore a simple new gown. "Welcome," Julia said warmly, embracing her. He built her a proper house. Enrolled her children in school. She cried with gratitude. "Why do this for me?" she asked. "Because you showed me real love when no one else did," he whispered. Years passed. Julius became known not as the richest man but the kindest. People learned from his example. And whenever young people asked him for advice on success, he would say, "When you're rich, you'll see many friends. When you're poor, you'll see true friends. Love is not measured by words or gifts, but by sacrifice." After opening his clinics and shelters, Julius didn't simply donate money and walk away. He visited every site himself. He sat with sick children in hospital wards. He served meals at his soup kitchens. His old staff, seeing this, came back to him not as servants but as partners. "Sir," said Angela, his old housekeeper, "I want to help. Let me run the food bank." "You'd do that?" Julius asked. "Yes. I used to waste food here while people starved. I want to change that." Julius smiled. Facing critics. Not everyone was happy with his new life. Some of his old friends mocked him. "You're wasting your wealth," one complained at a business meeting. Julius frowned. "On what?" "Saving lives. They're lazy. You'll spoil them. Let them suffer." Julius slammed his hand on the table. "No one deserves to starve. No child deserves to die from fever because there's no hospital." The room fell silent. Many of those men never returned. One day, Mama Grace asked him to visit her village. "We have no clinic there," she explained. "No school. Children are dying of cough and fever." Julius didn't hesitate. They traveled together in his car. For the first time, she sat in a plush seat, awed by the smell of new leather and the cool air from the vents. "This is too much for me," she whispered. "You deserve better," Julius replied. When they reached the village, elders gathered under a tree. They looked suspiciously at the rich man. "We don't want handouts," one said sternly. Julius raised his hands. "I didn't come to give fish. I came to teach fishing." He explained his plan. A clinic with local nurses, fully funded for 5 years. A borehole for clean water. A small school with 3 teachers. A microloan program for women to start small businesses. The elders exchanged glances. Finally, the oldest among them stood. "If you do this, our children will remember your name. We bless you." Julius bowed deeply. The microloan program. Back in the city, Julius started his Hope Fund. Women lined up for small loans to sell tomatoes, make soap, tailor clothes. He interviewed them himself. "How much do you need?" he asked one timid woman. 5,000, she whispered. He smiled. "I'll give you 10. And I want to see your stall next week." Soon the market bustled with new businesses. Children stopped hawking and returned to school, healing old wounds. One day, Julius sat under the mango tree in front of his mansion. Mama Grace was with him, sipping tea. "Your life has changed many people," she said. He shook his head. "They changed me." He grew quiet. "You know, Mama Grace, my father died poor. I was too young to help him. Maybe I'm trying to make up for that." She reached out and squeezed his hand. "You're doing well, Julius. Your father would be proud." He wiped his eyes discreetly. A letter from Patrick. Patrick, the friend who told him, "You think too much," sent a letter. "Julius, I mocked you before. But I see now. I've started helping at an orphanage. Thank you for showing me another way." Julius smiled as he read it. Years later, the government invited Julius to receive a national honor for philanthropy. He wore a simple suit. Cameras flashed. As they pinned the medal to his chest, a journalist asked, "What does this mean to you?" Julius cleared his throat. "Nothing if it doesn't inspire others to help. True wealth is in lifting others up. That's what I learned when I had nothing." The crowd applauded. The old friends return. Some old friends who once mocked him came back, humbled. "Julius, help us set up a foundation," they asked. He agreed, but warned them, "No showing off. We're not buying fame. We're saving lives." They nodded. A conversation with his lawyer. Mr. Falana visited one day. "Sir, your trust fund is depleting," he warned gently. Julius laughed. "Good. That means it's working. But you'll have nothing left. I didn't bring it into the world. I won't take it out. Better to empty it saving lives than die with it untouched." Mr. Falana nodded, deeply moved. Years later, Mama Grace's eldest son, Daniel, graduated as a doctor. Julius attended the ceremony. He stood in the crowd, weeping openly as Daniel accepted his degree. Afterwards, Daniel hugged him tightly. "You saved me from the streets. Thank you for giving me a future." Julius smiled through tears. "No, son. Thank you for proving that hope works." As he aged, Julius walked with a cane but remained active. He visited the slum where he had once slept. Now it had paved roads, a health center, and streetlights. Children ran up to greet him. "Grandpa Julius," they called. He laughed, giving them sweets. "Study hard," he'd tell them, "and help others." When Julius died, the entire city mourned. His funeral was packed, not with the rich, but with the poor. Women wept, clutching photos of their thriving market stalls. Men saluted him solemnly. Children recited poems about his kindness. Mama Grace, now old herself, sat in the front row, eyes full of tears. "Rest, Julius," she whispered. "You did well." His grave bore a simple inscription. He loved the poor and lifted them up. Years later, a foundation in his name still funded clinics and schools. Mama Grace's grandchildren volunteered at shelters. Daniel, now a senior doctor, ran the clinic in the village. And when people told his story, they always ended with, "Julius taught us that money is nothing if it doesn't help others. True love is what you give when you expect nothing back." Moral: Be the one who loves without condition. Help those who cannot repay you. For in lifting others, you truly lift yourself.